You write me, Booker at bookerlawfirm.com. Your question ends up on the show. Bring you to the court of my public opinion. We're not going to look at this as legal advice because I don't represent you and I may not have all of the facts that I need. However, I'm going to do the best job that I can with what I have. Without further ado, let's get it crack-a-lacking. Order in the court. What's up? It's your favorite attorney. Order in the courts. You already know what time it is. Okay, without further ado, let's get it crack-a-lacking. They wrote me and they said, should I give CPS the birth certificate for my children? Should I give my children a CPS? They don't have any allegations on me. I'm not in the house while CPS got my kids. I was in the hospital that time. There's litigation with my husband and he's hurting my kids. But the truth is, he's a very protective father to our kids. This is all the person wrote. And so this is what I'm assuming. Okay? I'm assuming that this person is in a lawsuit with the children. Okay? This person tends to be sickly or was sick at one point or had to go to the hospital, what have you. I'm assuming that the husband found out that the children were by themselves and called CPS on this parent. And so I believe that now that CPS is involved, they need to know whether or not this gentleman is really their father. Okay? Because you're married. I don't know if you all have been estranged or what's going on. But they're looking for specific documentation for the children because I guess they're feeling like they need to step in. Now, birth certificates, a lot of the times if questions are up in the air or if CPS has their hands on children, even if they have to give them back to the right parent or to a parent, they're going to request a birth certificate if you have that. They'll call you and tell you that they have your children, and if you have to come pick your kids up from them, you'll have to come pick your children up from them, and they'll ask for the birth certificate. They may or may not file a court case against you at that time, but may still give you your children back. Sometimes they don't give them back to you at all if they feel as if they were in harm's way. I've heard of cases where you have, let's say, siblings that have the same dad but different moms. And while the stepmother had the children, all of the children got taken by CPS at the stepmother's, whatever the stepmother was doing. Let's say she went to jail. Dad's not with stepmom. Stepmom has all of his children because they, week on, week off, right? Let's say CPS starts to call the other mothers to say, hey, we have your children. Stepmom was arrested. We need birth certificates on these children because we need to know who they are, and you've got to come pick your children up. They're in CPS custody. That's generally how it goes. Generally, you have to keep in contact with them, give them your information, identification. If you can send them IDs and stuff via text message, because they always take text messages. If you have copies of the birth certificate, you send that to them so that they can verify who the children are. So, ma'am, if they don't have allegations against you, but they have your children for some reason and they need to give them back to either you, him, or whomever, what is holding a birth certificate going to do but show them that you are not acting in the children's best interest? You're saying, should I give my kids to CPS? But I think you're trying to say, should I get my kids from CPS? Because you said, and should I get my kids to CPS? I think you're trying to ask me, should you go get them? Hell yes, you should. And that's why they're saying that they don't have the allegation against you per se, unless it's negligent supervision. I don't know. It may not be because you might have left the children with your husband at his house and he may have dropped them back off at your house. And because you didn't come home because you were in the hospital, he might have called CPS on you. That's what it sounds like happened because you're stating that they don't have allegations against you, which sounds like you're regurgitating the same thing that CPS told you. So just give them the birth certificate, find out what's going on, get your kids and pick them up. Don't leave them. Never leave your kids with CPS. A lot of the times, and well, not a lot of the times, but sometimes if you weren't with the kids when they were taken, they just want the birth certificate and to return them to you. They may have to have some follow-up calls. You may have to go to court following up on the case for them to make sure everything's okay. They may open up internal and external cases against you, but they may not formally remove the children if the children were not in your care when the incident went down, even if they have an open case. Okay? So is it good to run from CPS? It really kind of is not, because, ma'am, at any point you may need government assistance anyways. And what you don't want to happen is for you to run from CPS and for them to then think that there's an emergency situation that you created by running. And when you create that situation, then they have to go and get orders. CPS will get orders on children with or without a body. And once they get that order, they are then the parent, and they can then say that you're not supposed to have the child, and can then have the authorities to put out warrants or, be on the lookouts for those children. And because at that point you don't have custody, you're not around, the case is ongoing without you in court, and they're just making moves, looking for kids. And eventually you're going to have to come up, because the kids should be in school. It should be some sort of public assistance or otherwise that you're living off of, because even if you're not living off of public assistance, you're supposed to be letting the government know where you are. So your social security number should come up to a job, that should come up to a check stub at your house. Long story short, what are you planning to live beyond the grid? If you didn't do shit, just go. Like, I don't understand. It's just, if they got your kids, if you didn't do nothing, go get them back. You're tripping. Next case. Or send somebody else, girl. If you scared and you ain't ready, send somebody else with the birth certificate. Child, get them kids.
I made that call. I'm locked up and facing charges. Who gon' fight these cases for me? I called Booker Law Firm. They got the job done. They were right there for me.
For more information, contact the Booker Law Firm at 713-292-2225